Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome home. Welcome home, the iRacing Grand Prix Tour. The one circuit in the world that started it all. We are back once again at Silverstone. This Towcester, Northamptonshire, England track has been absolutely sensational from minute one to minute last for many a race, and it will prove so here in a virtual forum with the iRacing Grand Prix Tour. We hit the halfway stage of the season in and around tonight, and this is going to be about who wants some and who can get some. It's Jake Sperry, it's Jay Kennedy here in the commentary box, back after a week's absence over the course of Austria. That is a shame that we couldn't bring you that coverage, but we'll double down here and get everything sorted. Jay, it's the track of tracks when it comes to racing, and that doesn't come from a British bias. That comes from, this is Silverstone. This is one of the most iconic circuits in the world, and it thoroughly deserves its place based on its merits.
100%. I mean, it literally is the home of Formula One, isn't it? It's the home of open wheel racing. It's the birthplace of the series. It's the birthplace of the cars. It's the birthplace of everything we love about this top tier open wheel formula. So this is the circuit, seen lots of changes over the years, but I think this current iteration is probably been one of the best, as much as I do miss a couple of the corners, especially under the bridge. But very cool track, just under 6 kilometers, just over 3.5 miles, 18 turns. They're all iconic as well, which is one of the things I absolutely love. Every section has its own story. Every section has its own interesting quirks, interesting ticks to it. I'm really looking forward to this race. It's been iconic every time we've come here in this series and other series as well. I don't think I've ever seen a bad race here.
No, all of the races here have been strong, and we've seen some great racing. 7 of the 10 Formula One teams are based in a radius of 100 miles of this circuit, and there are the two key places to make passes today. The Wellington Straight heading to Brooklands, and then the run on the fabled Hangar Straight, rushing over towards the right-hand bend of Stowe Corner, which has been time and again a place of classic overtake after classic overtake. Let's take a little look at the championship standings, see how they look. There's 2 standings available, and this is the overall championship. Marcel Fassbender is clear, but it's a 2-horse race in that championship at the moment between himself and Anthony Cat. Just 80-odd points splitting them at the top of the field, meaning that every single result is going to matter between those two if they want the iRacing crown to be in their back pocket. Let's switch over, though, after 10 rounds to the SimSpeed Championship. We do include what happened last time out. The driver who's just jumped up into 10th is Darren Parker, but you look around, Marcel Fassbender has himself just a 7-point lead over Anthony Cat. Jordan Gronkowski 3rd, James Dempster skyrocketing Jay up to 4th after a win last time out at the Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, good job from James Dempster to get a big haul of points there, as see Jacob Reed sitting in 5th as well. So lots of guys from the UK trying to take that crown from Marcel Fassbender, but he has been very good in these races. But one thing I'm noticing, not here tonight. So a chance for, he is here tonight, but he hasn't had a great job in qualifying. So a chance for these guys to potentially jump some points from him. in what is going to be a very, very interesting race strategy-wise. I don't think we've seen a race so open for strategy as what we're going to see today.
Soft, medium, and hard, all available for drivers here tonight. We expect the soft to last maybe only 10 to 17 laps. The hard tyre can go 20 to 35. It's right in the wheelhouse of available for a lot of drivers, and a number of drivers haven't necessarily set a qualifying time. There is the predicted tyre strategies. 1 stop, 2 stop, and 3 stop in the back pocket today, Jay.
Yep, all very, very viable, and the more viable is seeming to be the 3-stop strategy, which sounds bizarre to say, but the fact that the pit lane is short and you get that little shortcut for pit entry, it is a very, very short pit lane delta here. So very big opportunity to gain some time at pit entry, which is a bit different from what we normally would see at this circuit, at other circuits, but this is a little quirk of this track that does happen.
Let's take a look at the starting grid then. Here at Silverstone, it's Connor Pooler on pole position. A 1:28.241 has Gronk alongside him. Jordan Gronkowski will be there in second. Julian Magalon starts third with Anthony Cat there on the second row of the grid. He goes from 4th position with Lukasz Szykomski in 5th and Walter Lux making up the top 6. Row 4 will house Brandon Powell and Tobias Saal in 8th position, with the race winner last time out, James Dempster, in 9th, and Norton Motta, the Brazilian, in 10th position with that qualifying effort. Timothy Vaughan and Oyvind Haugland will be 11th and 12th. Running out of fuel on his second qualifying lap means Marcel Fassbender can only manage 13th. We'll have Kent Nielsen for company on that 7th row. Last drivers to set times were Jason Green and Adam Webb, 15th and 16th, which means by iRacing, it'll be Yestin Chiapolo, Nick Burke, and Kalen Chin on his alternate account. Kalen A. Chin starting in 18th position, or 19th position, I should say, as he will look at what will make this race tick. It's a fast opening first 2 corners out on this circuit. You only need to look back 1 year, see what happened between Zhou Guan Yu and George Russell through the opening section to know just how dangerous and how quick the start of this race can be. And it's going to be an important race distance here today. It's 52 laps worth of racing action, so they are going to have to be flying around and being alert to everybody else's strategies. This could go a number of different ways, and nobody quite knows what the magic formula is going to be. Everybody looks to grid themselves up, though. We're going to get through halfway at the end of this race, and it's going to be all about the run on home. Green flag in the air, and let's get ourselves underway. It's a good start by Magalon. It's a really good start by Walter Lux as he looks to try and push on the inside. Pooler covers everything off then through Abbey Corner to start this race. One car darting off the road. That's Norton Motta in the early stages. They drive down into the second pass of chicane. Motta still off and now in through the loop now, looking towards the next section. Pooler's shoved off the road. Gronk leads.
Connor Pooler had a good launch right at the very start, but he's dropping way back down the field after that
lead.
Second part. Yeah, and for the lead, it's on. Oh, Magalon.
And Magalon's going to go off here. Just about manages to skate on forward, but he will keep himself on the road. That's crucial. Too wide through the majority of the field, through the middle sector. The old final sector, Komsky side by side then off of the exit with James Dempster as they rush on through at Woodcote Corner, heading towards Copse, the old turn 1. And that is going to be Dempster on the inside, losing out there. On the outside, losing out to Lukasz Szykomski. You got Tobias Saal, Marcel Fassbender trying to make some progress. Look at them as they swarm into Maggots and Beckett's.
Interesting thing to note too at the start of this race, Jordan Gronkowski has done the opposite of everyone else. He's the only driver starting on the soft compound tyre, so he's mixing up the strategy very, very early. Probably going to go soft, medium, soft, soft.
He's the only one on the soft tyre, as there is Saal on the mediums, holding off Fassbender. There are a handful of drivers on the hard tyre. They include Anthony Cat, Jason Green, Walter Lux, Lukasz Szykomski, Kent Nielsen and Brandon Powell. They're all on the hard. Now trying to run around the outside of Kalen Chin then. To the front stretch. The Sir Lewis Hamilton straight. Not happening there for Adam Webb. He's going to have to sit in line. Nick Burke in the Alpine colours is waiting for a chance then to go through as they hit the brakes and enter the village section.
Komsky and Dempster still side by side. They've been side by side for a fair while. They got back to single file for a little bit, but they've now gone back to double file. Now there's a big gaggle of cars starting to form up behind, as here comes Tobias Saal looking to get involved in this one.
And remember, this is lap 2 of the race. They don't have DRS, and they're making these moves on the straight using the battery deploy, the difference in traction with the tyres. And it's showing here for Komsky, who's on the hard tyres there in the 14 car. He'll be looking behind him because there goes Marcel Fassbender straight to the inside of Kopp's corner, but he hangs it around the outside. Brilliant stuff from Komsky. Can he continue it here through Magnussen Beckett's? The answer's going to be no. Fassbender's through.
Nice job from Marcel Fassbender. So he's already up a couple of spots very, very early on in this race, which is great to see for him. Everyone else will be a little bit nervous about that, seeing how quickly he's moved forward as well. As here comes Timothy Vaughan looking at Komsky, trying to get on through.
Trying to almost freight train him, the amount of times he's having to look back in his mirrors and lose those places early on. He won't have to worry about that too much anymore because Vaughan isn't in a position to make that move just yet. Just behind that, Norton Motta trying to recover. Kent Nielsen struggles a little bit on the power. Here comes Kalen Chin to make the move. And just behind that as well, you've got Yestin Chaplin and Oyvind Haugland off into the barriers then. On the inside, the pit wall is the home of Yestin Chaplin.
That was a big hit into the wall too, and that'll be race done for him, and Haugland probably has some damage as well. So we'll get a look at that in a moment. DRS now enabled too, so this is going to bring this field all together that's in this big group.
Yeah, Haugland's got the black and orange mechanical flag, so his day's pretty much going to be done. The front demolished on his machinery, but then on lap 3, the DRS strikes, and now everybody's trying to search around and think, what do we have in terms of positioning? I'll tell you what, keep an eye out on 4th and 5th place at the moment because Connor Pooler is trying to recover in this field and he'll have his sights set on Walter Lux and co. There's the secondary group. Look at them swarm through Kopp's corner here as they all try and charge through. There is Lux and Pooler, 4th and 5th. Pooler with the mediums. Walter Lux on the hard tyre will be looking around going, this isn't quite what I was expecting to still be in 3rd position after such a strong start. But there goes the move, and Connor Pooler now jumps up into 4th. It is going to be Walter Lux now back into that 5th place.
Yeah, Lux is trying to now worry about what's happening behind too, because look, Dempster and Powell, they've closed up very, very quickly, haven't they, in this group now too. So this is turning into a very, very interesting little battle pack. And they're bringing a lot of other cars involved now, which is going to make it very, very difficult for them to potentially close that gap down at the front. Connor Pooler's already broken a fairly big margin.
And just like that going through, that's James Dempster making the pass and Walter Lux, nothing he could do. Brandon Powell just behind, then it's Saal and Marcel Fassbender, who's looking to make some progress. He's already got 4 places, and I'll tell you what, Fassbender's about to get a 5th hit as he looks to the inside and will get the move done on Tobias Saal. Will move up then into 8th place with that pass and is up 5 spots now in this race. He's had a wonderful start to this one and will be ruining the fact that his qualifying hasn't worked. Now, this is what's happened between Chiapolone and Haugland here. So the Norwegian will be looking around at the American going, what on earth happened here? Through the final corner, and did they just tangle off the exit? Oh, Chiapolone just loses it on the outside and Haugland just gets wiped out.
Yep. It's just unlucky, isn't it? Just wrong place, wrong time. Great battle, but it just didn't quite work out in his favour, and he's paid the price for being involved in a fight. It's just very, very unfortunate. Here comes Fassbender looking again. This is some Brandon Powell with the new look paint. Very interesting colours for Brandon Powell as Kalen Chin goes through. It struck me off guard a little bit there. I was trying to work out who that was in the new look.
Yeah, so there is Brandon Powell in the very nice pink and blue out there trying to push with as much effort as he can at this point in time, really trying to maximize what is there. You've got Komsky, you've got Motta, Kalen Chin now up inside the top 10, or looking to try and get up inside the top 10. Fassbender with another one now on Brandon Powell, and he's making the medium shine, mainly because he's getting past most of the hard compound runners.
Interesting thing too is I think that he may have got DRS. Yeah, he got DRS as well, so he was behind at the activation point, and then at the detection point, sorry, and then the activation point he's ahead, so he's just pulled an extra bit of margin there over Powell, and now Tobias Sale getting involved too, so this is a great job from Marcel Fassbender. And don't forget too, he's on the medium compound tyre, so he's making it a little bit easier with some of these hard runners around him as well.
He is making it easier here, and there is Sal at Cop's corner down the inside, comfortably making that pass then on lap 5 of 52, jumping up the place then, and Brandon Powell looking backwards because it's number 9 who is there behind. That's Timothy Vaughan, and he will be looking for a number 9 large style overtake as he will now get himself into play. But here's where the DRS pretty much brings yourself into a train. You struggle to get the pass on the car in front because the car in front's got DRS. Big lunge at Stoke corner by Powell. Sale will run out wide. There's where Vaughan will take the advantage and take it on the exit.
It's a little bit of driving there, just saw the opportunity. Just ahead as well, you may have seen Marcel Fassbender through on Walter Lux, but Brandon Powell, he's getting absolutely freight trained here. Kalen Chin now up into the top 10, who openly admitted he's done very, very little practice focusing on the Grand Prix World Championship that you're commentating on, Sperry. So he's been focused away from this series, but he's still doing a very, very nice job up into 10th.
Yeah, he is. The GP Turn Racing iRacing qualifying series taking his attentions away. Komsky looking behind. It's Norton Motta trying to make a move through. The Brazilian hoping for not a 2008 Felipe Massa style performance of 6 spins. Oh, speaking of spins, there goes Lukas Komsky straight off. Avoids the barriers using that runoff air as much as possible. He would have toasted his hard tyres.
Yeah, they'll be struggling for a few laps now after that too, so that's a painful little spin there for Komsky. He's now dropped to the last runner in the field as well. So a very, very big mistake there for him.
A very big mistake, dropping him back to 17th position, and that is a real shame for what he's doing. Connor Pooler is trying to stay with James Dempster, who has moved up through into 4th position. Fassbender is with them as well, and is there from 6th, trying to make some progress. Walter Lux going backwards. Tobias Sal has now made the move. He tries to fight back, but he's got nothing there. In through the Vale and Club Corner here, the final corner out on track. So has to be patient with Vaughan and Chin. Circling like sharks, big wiggle. How did he save it there, Walter Lux?
Yeah, Lux is not as smooth as I would have expected him to be. He's a little inconsistent in this one. Manages to save that little moment there, so he'll probably be just taking his breath, taking a couple of breaths now and trying to regather his composure. Got a bit of pressure now coming from Brandon Powell, but Kalen Chin now up some spots. He's been the biggest mover in the field so far as he has another look up the inside and maybe steal another one.
Oh, that's a freebie and a half there. No turning from Timothy Vaughan. Let him have it, and then some yellow helmet syndrome is in play with Kalen Chin and how quick he is. So right now, at this moment in time, we're on lap 7 of 52. It is Jordan Gronkowski who leads. This is what happened to Walter Lux, who was up as high as 4th position, but has dropped back. Watch the save. Anti-cut curb. Big tank slapper. What a save.
Very, very nice save. He's done a very, very good job there to hold on to that, because I think most drivers would have put that in the fence. Myself included.
Yeah, includes me too. That one would have easily been in the fence if it were me. But this has been a fantastic run of battling that we have seen up through this field. Lead, by the way, is 7.8 seconds at the moment at the front of this field. That is a huge margin. There is Julien Magalon, who finds himself in that 2nd position. And get this here, Jay. Jordan Gronkowski has not won a race this season.
Which is surprising, isn't it? Considering he's leading the championship. Obviously, been very, very consistent, but yeah, hasn't won a race yet in the broadcast time slot. But he's doing something different from everyone else today, which I think is always a positive sign, isn't it? You're trying to do something a little bit left field of everyone else. When you do that and you've got genuine pace, it's usually because you've done a bit of testing and understand that it's going to work. So we'll see if it pays off, but if he can get that lead out to maybe 12, 13 seconds, he'll probably find himself either in clean air or maybe with 1 or 2 cars around him. What he doesn't want to do is come out when he makes his pit stop, because we know that it's not far away. Come out in that group with Connor Pooler and Tobias Sale and Kalen Chin, Timothy Vaughan. If he comes out in the middle of that group, strategy might be done already, but if he can come out in some clean air when he comes in for that first pit stop at around about lap 13, I'm going to say, I think he's looking okay.
Well, you have to consider as well here, Jay, the position that he's in as Marcel Fassbender is dispatching drivers left and right. He got Connor Pooler off screen. He's now taking James Dempster for a ride, and now he's in 4th position. Luck's dropping back now as Brandon Powell goes through, and there is Motta trying to scrap it out there with Kent Nielsen, who is the hardest fighter of them all. He does never, ever does Kent Nielsen want to lift and yield any position, and Nielsen will take 12.
Drivers know if they're battling with Kent Nielsen, they're in for a fight, so they're aware of that too, which I think some enjoy and some don't, so it does make it very, very interesting, but you do know you're in for a really good battle when you're battling away with Kent Nielsen, and that little checkup that he forced on Northern Motta through turn 1 has enabled a tiny little gap to form, and here comes Adam Webb, who potentially steal the spot, won't get it done, but now Webb's applying more pressure to Motta than what Motta was to Kent Nielsen. Nick Burke's also coming and getting involved in this little group too now.
He is, and let's not forget, track conditions, I would say, are right in the wheelhouse. 34 degrees centigrade out there on track. Winds from the southwest at 13k. A little search around the outside. Both track extend off the circuit. They only had the 17 instant points before they get a drive-through penalty. They fight towards Maggots and Beckett's, but they fall back into single file with the turbulences and the vortices in the air brought up by the aerodynamics. But it is southwesterly winds of 15 kilometers an hour as here comes the move straight down the inside. Adam Webb with DRS wasn't even going to fight that one. He got that well before the braking zone.
Yeah, no real issue in that one, was it? It's a pretty straightforward overtake. Got that done very, very easily in the end. Very nice move. Just noticed just off camera that there's been a little mistake for Julian Magalon on that lap previous. He's lost a bit of ground, so I'm just trying to see if I can find out where that happened, but yeah, he lost a decent chunk of time on that lap.
Well, he lost a decent chunk of time, but that might just be for him an issue out there in terms of what he's trying to do. It was a 34.7 for him on that last lap, which he won't be too impressed with. There is your race leader who's out there at the moment. I think it may have been Maggots and Beckett where it started to go wrong for Magalon, as he really struggled with the car as he went through. 10.7 seconds now, the margin at the front. But this is the sort of circuit where you can blink and suddenly find that you've lost half a second by not really doing anything too untoward, Jay.
Yeah, exactly right. It does breed on just the natural flow of the circuit. Does breed in very, very big differences in lap times and the like. So one thing we haven't talked about is the difference in the downforce strategy as well. So I think it was a pretty clear example before that Adam Webb is running a different aero package to Northern Motta in that overtake we saw. But we have seen the medium and the high downforce runners in this series both be very, very different. Oh yeah, Tobias Sale already in, only 10 laps into the race on medium tyres.
Well, he has had enough of those. He wants to get those off. You can see some of the flat spotting there on the left front tyre there. So he's really been struggling with how he wants to break in his Mercedes W13E Performance. He'll find himself in the box now, and it'll be interesting to note what tyre he goes back onto. It is a second set of the medium compound tyre as he goes out and away again. So that is really a stop that he didn't want to make. And I don't quite know what his plan is. If the medium wasn't good, why have he gone on to a second set of it?
Yeah, unless he started with the completely wrong tyre pressures for the temperature and he's decided, well, I better come in and try that again. It does seem like a little bit of a wasted pit stop though, doesn't it? It's a bit weird that you go medium, then go back to another medium. I mean, if we went medium soft, we could probably say, yeah, okay, he's going to do a 3-stop race with the soft, but going back to the medium doesn't fit that strategy that we've heard about. So this will be interesting. Anthony Cat's under a lot of pressure here from Marcel Fassbender. I don't think Fassbender's close enough, but he's very, very close to that point.
Top 2 in the championship. Here comes the search from Marcel Fassbender on Anthony Cat. A statement overtake then by the championship leader. Cat will let him go because he's on a worse tyre at this point, but expect Anthony Cat to get better as this race goes on.
What a beautiful overtake that was. He came from that far back. I didn't think he was close enough to get the move done, but just enough pressure on Anthony Cat. And as you said, the different tyres could have been enough for that overtake to finalise. But a beautiful move there from Fassbender to get through. He's now up into 3rd position, and Kalen Chin's up into 7th. Those guys have moved their way forward very, very quickly.
They are moving, and look at the positions gained. 22 of them between those two drivers. They have been rip-roaring through this field at a rate of knots in this one. And for Kalen Chin, he's not out of the woods just yet because he is bringing Timothy Vaughan and he is bringing Brandon Powell. He's not distancing them. He's not getting rid of them. He's just bringing them along for the ride. And that's where Brandon Powell has to be alert in terms of what he wants in this race, because it's very much the same as cycling. You can piggyback onto the back of someone else and expend a lot less energy out there in terms of what you need from this race.
And you can use it now to save some fuel early on so that you can push the fuel burn later on in the race and work that harder as we get into the latter stages of the race. When you get onto the softer tyre with a smaller fuel load, that's when you can punch out those really quick lap times. So save your fuel now so that you can burn it really late on, burn that energy away later on in the race.
Lap 13 then starts for Jordan Gronkowski, as on the back end of lap 12, Kalen Chins will still look behind at Timothy Vaughan, at Brandon Powell, who are wanting to bring themselves in. This is where we're expecting the soft tyre to start to really hurt, but that gap is still extending out at a rate of knots. It's now up to 13 seconds here at the front of the field. This has been a perfect first stint for Jordan Gronkowski, and I think these conditions are suiting the way he drives. You talk about this pit lane transit time, it's 20 seconds. Right now, he comes out ahead of Kalen Chin in that 6th position if he were to make his stop right now, and you would say that on his strategy then, you know, he's right in the wheelhouse with Magalon, with Fassbender. The only thing he'll have to worry about is going onto the medium tyre at some point in the race.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to wait until the end of going the medium, I would say. He's going to maintain the pace on the soft early on and then go to the medium right at the last possible point. So I think we'll see the reverse of what we had up on our graphic pre-race of the medium, soft, soft, soft. I think we'll see soft, 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 medium here from Gronkowski. And here we go. We're going to see right now, into the pits he comes.
Jay, didn't you say lap 13 he'd come into the pits?
I'm pretty sure I did say lap 13. Crystal Ball's working today.
Well, that makes it a broken clock right twice a day. Here is Jordan Gronkowski. Down in on the lane. He will go down to the penultimate box. There is Julian Magalon. Fassbender. This is going to be where the race lead battle comes into play. Those two will race. iRacing Gronkowski on the white wall hard.
Wow, and he's come out ahead of Connor Pooler, so pit lane delta there for him about 19 seconds, but this is going to be a real struggle for him. I mean, the positive is that these guys... Oh, yeah.
Marcel Fassbender takes the race lead, has the DRS as well to boot, and Julien Magalon has nothing to argue about it. Marcel is on a mission. That is just pure pressure coming through turn 4. He takes a much wider line in to get shallow on the exit and attack on the acceleration earlier.
A little wiggle as well from Magalon. Wasn't able to get the power fully down. And then obviously DRS as well to get to boot to finish the overtake. So very, very nice move. What I was about to say with Gronkowski is the positive he's got is the guys that are behind. Sure, they're on the medium tyre, but they have got worn mediums. But yeah, I'm surprised by this soft to hard strategy. We don't see a lot of drivers that'll do soft and hard in the race together. They usually go soft or medium, soft and medium together, and then medium and hard together. But soft to hard, we'll probably see a medium later on. Very interesting strategy. He comes out.
it's going to get close. Kalen Chin finds himself in a race. Brandon Powell can't find the pass, but that is with Kalen Chin now struggling in the second phase of this race, with Timothy Vaughan finding himself through, or second phase of this stint. Kalen Chin's tyres are not playing ball the same way that everyone else's would.
Another driver whose tyres are not playing ball is Walter Lux. He's still dropping further and further down the field. I'm wondering if he's actually got a little bit of damage to the front wing that's costing him some time, and he's just holding off taking that until the last possible point.
Lukas Okomski is down in the pits. He's hit the wall out of the final corner a lap ago, and his race is over and done with. Had a massive tank slapper and put it side on into the wall. We'll take a look at it here now. This is why the final corner is so difficult and people don't give it enough credit. Oh, just a horrible tank slapper, and he was passenger from that point onwards.
No wonder that he's ended up out of the race from that. That's a fairly heavy hit. Now, Gronkowski has got past James Dempster, by the way, so he's got through there. Dempster now has Connor Pooler, Timothy Vaughan, and then that Kalen Chin, Brandon Powell battle. And Kent Nielsen also has closed in on these guys very quickly too.
Kent Nielsen has, and I think Kent Nielsen knows that he has got a little bit of pace underneath him at this point. He's there with the mediums doing a good job. Now, I also want to point out the last lap between Magalon and Cat. In fact, Magalon is in the pit. He was really struggling on that medium. That was letting go, and only 2 laps better off than the soft. I think Magalon is chewing his tyres up here at Silverstone.
Yeah, we did hear from a few drivers that the tyre does degenerate very, very quickly in these very, very hot track conditions. So uncharacteristic weather for Silverstone. Very, very warm. 33-degree track temp. I mean, for me, that doesn't seem very warm, but it definitely does in Britain. Jason Green also in the pits. So I think we at the end of lap 15. We sort of hearing between 15 and 20 was the medium sort of range. So yeah, okay. This is providing a bigger curveball than we may have thought.
Magalon is out on the soft tyre, so this would indicate a 3-stop strategy here today for the Frenchman, and he's already got rid of Tobias Saal, who would have jumped him actually in the stop there with his early pit stop. So that was a crucial overtake because it puts Saal in the podium battle. You'd have thought at that point of those who made a stop. Vaughan, though, is absolutely romping towards Connor Pooler, romping towards James Dempster, and I do need to note that it's such a good pace right now from Anthony Catt. He's only half a second a lap slower than Marcel Fassbender at this point. Chin defending again from Powell into Stowe.
He's had to get the defence on it. Here we go. More drivers coming into the pits. What have we got? James Dempster in. We've got Connor Pooler in. So 2 more medium runners at the end of lap 16 coming into the pits. I don't think we'll be too far away from seeing Fassbender in too.
Now, this is going to cause a chain reaction. Norton Motta also into the pits. It's going to be a battle of the pit crews as they go down and try and get as much as they can out of it here. So there they go. They hit their marks. They'll go up on the jacks. They'll go down off the jacks, and they'll go away again because there's no refueling in this series. And a comfortable stop there for James Dempster, who's away on the hard, Pooler on the medium.
Surprised to see another driver going medium, or going to the hard in the middle phase of the race. Interesting strategy, but obviously these guys have tested all the different options and possibilities for strategy and understand that the way the tyres perform, obviously the mid-range of the fuel load in the car, it's hitting the hard for a couple of drivers. So I'm surprised to see it, but I'm not upset to see it. I think it's very cool that we've got such a mixed up strategy. It makes it very difficult for us to know what's going on, but doesn't mean we don't love it.
No, it doesn't mean we don't love it at all. And I'll tell you what, we're going to be in for a treat when all these strategies coalesce. Anthony Catt will look behind him. That is Jordan Gronkowski within half a second now as he looks forward and thinks, what do I have to do? He's back once again, and he'll look to try and take second position away on his better set of tyres. In comes the race leader, started 13th on the grid after running out of fuel in qualifying. Marcel Fassbender will make his pit stop.
See what time this stop is. Love the angled entry into the box as well. 4-second stop. Hard to soft. This is interesting.
Medium to soft.
Medium to soft. You're right. I'll shut up.
Well, he'll
Not
get
enough
back
caffeine.
out and away again, and once more we'll do the same strategy as Magalon, and Magalon has actually jumped him in the stop. Kalen Chin now will be out and away from the pits, and Walter Lux finds himself in a battle with Magalon, and Lux has nothing for it. Number 7 can only wait and watch on his hard tyres, and there is Gronkowski making the move then through at Brooklands corner. Through Luffield, he breaks away.
This is not necessarily a difference in tyre pace. Actually, it could be tyre. It's 18 lap old hards versus relatively new hards. But that's just a classic Silverstone overtake, isn't it? DRS. Beautiful move.
Comfortable, easy as you like. Can't really argue too much against it. Jordan Gronkowski leads this race once again here at Silverstone with his aggressive strategy to start this race. It's a very interesting two-stop that he's going to be running here today. And actually, just as we say that, Timothy Vaughan has lost the place. All of a sudden, Brandon Powell has all the life possible. Vaughan on those worn mediums dives into the pits. I tell you what, the hard tyre, I think, is a really, really beautiful race tyre here today.
Yeah, it's looking a little bit better than what we may have been led to believe. So I will say that some of our tyre data, it did actually come from Anthony Catt. So he did feed us a bit of data in regards to tyre life. But also, he was one that was saying the hard tyre may not be the most amazing tyre, and saying that he started on the hard tyre, so maybe he's thrown us a little curveball there as well. But the hard tyre is looking really strong. I mean, the fact that we've got a fair few drivers that have gone to the hard tyre for the second phase of the race shows that there is something with this tyre that may actually work by the end.
Some great racing going on, and I tell you what, the tyres are a big talking point. Kalen Chin's got himself a talking point right now. It's the former James Dempster that he will make a move on down the inside and comfortably take that place. Connor Pooler will be next, and this group all together is all going to try and push. Kalen Chin in the mock-up Force India colours is going to find a Kingfisher's overtake right now because he's nimble, he's fast, and he's flapping his wings like crazy down the inside at Cops.
And Puller might lose another spot here because he's just run so wide through Cops. Here comes James Dempster, not quite close enough to get the move, but you think the DRS might be enough here to potentially get through? On a Puller on the medium zone, James Dempster has gone to the hard tyre at the pit stop, so he might not be able to get through.
He might not, and that could be worrisome if he can't find those overtakes. Pooler not there. The DRS pretty much playing the balancing game with Kalen Chin there just in front. So that will just bring everything nicely and neatly together. In comes Nick Burke then from 8th place to go and make his pit stop. He will now jump in and make his stop. He's done really well on those mediums. Took it 20 laps.
Yeah, so still one driver that started on the mediums that is out on track at the moment, that being Adam Webb. He's the only driver that started on mediums that's still on track. Every other driver that started on soft or mediums has come in and made a pit stop.
Well,
I think our numbers saying that 20 to 25 at the absolute most is very, very on.
yeah, and I think that if you're looking at Adam Webb and the way that he's going, if he can make it here to lap 25 on that set of medium tyres, he might actually be in a really, really nice position for this race. He's going to be there struggling with them. The heavy fuel loads won't be helping him in terms of his run, but he might have an easier hard compound stint. Although saying that, when you got number 1 Marcel Fassbender right behind you, nothing really helps.
I think he only has to get to lap 22, 23 on these mediums, and then he can go to the hard and only have to do 30 laps on the hard. So I think he's in a really good spot here to make a successful one-stop strategy work. When others around him just saw at the front there too, Magalon threw on power. But I think Webb, if he can get one more lap on these tyres, he's going to be in a really good spot to just make the one stop and be the only car in the field looking like he might make a one-stop strategy work.
And it might be his prerogative to do so, as he'll go on to his 21st lap of the race. For now, you got Fassbender eyeing up Kent Nielsen now for a position, flying through these rights and lefts, now looking to attack. Can he find everything? Yes, he can. and that is the move that puts Fassbender up inside the top 5 on merit.
One thing that does not surprise me in the slightest is how much the fastest lap time is changing between 3 drivers out on track. Magalon, Fassbender, and Chin all alternating fastest laps of the race now that they're on soft tyres.
Nick Burke is in a lot of trouble.
Oh.
Look at his front wing. He is going to be done in the number 15 car. Well, he'll only have to change the front wing, but he had a mistake coming out of the pit, and that was going to be at turn 4. He put it into the barriers.
This is an unusual incident, this one. Very unusual.
Talk about wheel spin, Jay. This is where wheel spin is huge. You struggle on the exit. Now watch it here. Going to put the power down. Nope, he's not there.
Look, this would have been the slowest incident he's ever had. Oh my goodness. That would have been so painful in the seat as well because he just couldn't do anything. It just kept on sliding on the grass and it finally hit the wall.
He's retired the car. So he is out now of this race, is Nick Burke, and he will find himself now joining the list of names including Lukas Komski, Oyvind Horgland, and Jestin Chiapalone, who will not get a finish here today at Silverstone on track. There is Adam Webb, who has seen his teammate Kent Nielsen there just in front as they charge around through the middle sector. Fassbender will have eyes in front of him. He's got Brandon Powell, and then in front of Brandon Powell, Julien Magalon as his next focus. He'll get held up through the left of Aintree corner, but now here comes the chance with the DRS. Brandon Powell, move out the way. Well, he got well out the way there.
I think he saw Fassbender coming, goes, I don't want anything to do with this, and 22 lap old hard tyres versus 4 lap old soft tyres, you know which is going to win that battle each and every time, and you can tell how much of a gap that Fassbender's already pulled away, how much better those new tyres are.
They are elite at the moment. His tyres that he's running with at the moment, lap 22 of 52. There is your race leader, Jordan Gronkowski, a 1:32.7 that last time by was 1.3 seconds quicker than Anthony Catt. And you got Julien Magalon behind it on the soft, who was only 0.2 faster than Gronkowski.
There's other factors in that, obviously, as well. It could be how much battery was used. There's a chance that Gronkowski used a lot of battery. Magalon used no battery. But yeah, even still, that pace is looking very, very good from Gronkowski. He's looking very strong in this race, which is great to see. We might see a successful run here from Gronkowski based on his current pace.
We certainly will. And of course, James Dempster was a new winner last time out. The only multiple winner in this season has been Marcel Fassbender. We're on track for 9 different race winners. No, we're on round 11, aren't we? 10 different race winners in 11 races.
Yep, very, very good chance. We're looking very, very good for that potentially to happen. We don't want to put the curse on yet, though. We're not even halfway through this race, so... but James Dempster, congratulations to him last round. Unfortunately, we couldn't bring the broadcast. I was having some major technical issues, which thankfully I got sorted throwing the router in the bin. It was a bit frustrating, but great to see that James Dempster could pick up a win and add another driver to the winners list. We'll hopefully, by the end of the season, how cool will it be if we get to the end of the season, we've seen 20 different winners?
That would be insane. I don't think that's physically possible. It would have to require a few one-off entries, I think, or drivers finding themselves to the fore, like Brandon Powell or Kent Nielsen, just opening up. Kalen Chin's due a win at this point in the season. Tobias Saal, you could argue, might have some pace for a victory later on in the season. This has really been a season of nobody has had any form of consistency from race to race because it has been so different. Speaking of different, there's the pass through. That's Timothy Vaughan making the move on Walter Lutz, who's out there and still falling backwards on his hard tyres.
I'm surprised that Lux hasn't been in to get rid of those hards. I'm very, very surprised. I thought he might have just decided to bring them in and go, no thanks, I'm done with these. But he's still fighting and trying to push on with that same strategy, which, I mean, good on him for continuing to try and make it work. But you think that the way that he's dropped back through the field, remembering starting so far forward, now back in 11th, thought he might have decided, no, this strategy's not for me. But he might have something up his sleeve for later on in the race. We never know.
He's really arguing around with his grip. He does have DRS to counter Connor Pooler, but Pooler with a little nose to the inside was searching. Wasn't going to find that move, though. Walter Lux covering it off then through Brooklands Corner into Luffield. The nature of this circuit, yes, there's been a big change to the first sector, but this second sector into third sector hasn't really changed too much over the last 40 years or so. The run from Copse Corner all the way down to the Hangar Straight has hardly had a breath of wind changed.
And it's still one of the most iconic sections of road anywhere in the world, isn't it? I mean, you look at when they built Circuit of the Americas, they took all different parts of racetracks all around the world. And what part did they take from this circuit? Maggots and Beckett's, because it's one of the coolest parts of the track. And it's turned into an iconic part of the track at Circuit of the Americas. So, yeah, what a cool part of the track. What a cool piece of road. Here comes James Dempster looking up the inside, and that is a very, very nice pass. Speaking of cool, that was a cool pass.
Pooler gets one, Dempster gets another. Lux is looking backwards. It'll be Norton Motter next. Eyes, though, have to go to Fastbender and now Julien Magalon. These two are together on the road. This are on lap 25 and 52. The German is absolutely flying. De Marcel will try and make the pass and does so.
Very, very nice move there on Julien Magalon. I mean, it's almost like they've done that before. It's almost like they've realised, both of them. I think you're right. Sorry, I'm going to go back to what you said before, Sperry. Magalon does not look as good on his softs as what we've seen others look, does he? His pace is not there. So what we were thinking before, maybe it could be something else. I think you're right. There's something not right with that car, or there's something not right with the driver connecting with these soft tyres.
No, I think it's just the way that maybe the car's set up for Julien Magalon. I think he's got a car that absolutely chews up the tyres quickly. Look at it, from first lap to last lap. He's dropped 2 seconds of pace from when he started on that soft tyre. And look at the driver around him there. Gronkowski, 32.9, took 7 tenths out of him on a hard tyre.
Yeah, on a hard tyre that's the same amount of laps old, so give or take. So 9 laps old. This is the end of the 9th lap for Magalon on these tyres. So
Cat was quicker than him on that last lap.
Yeah. Brandon Powell on 26 lap old hard tyres did the same lap time behind him. This doesn't make sense. And Anthony Cat in second position was faster than him. So
and Julien Magalon, correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, doesn't have a race victory this season.
I will go back through our stats.
That is a good bit of work to happen there. I think he's been out-trumped by Aurelian Baif, by Jarl Teyen over the course of this season. Hasn't found himself a victory of his own. But now Fastbender just in front has Anthony Cat ready and scouted. This should be easy. Second run through. Anthony Marcel's got all the pace he wants and then some. Not going to happen at Copse Corner. He can wait for the entirety of this SS section if he so chooses.
Yeah, I think Fastbender's smart enough to know that he doesn't have to make the move straight away. He can just hold off, wait, find the right spot to get the move done. And I think it's going to be just up here, gets the run down the Hangar Straight. And this is going to be a very easy overtake in the end.
Comfortable. That was all it was. Comfortable in terms of the overtake for Marcel Fastbender. In comes Anthony Cat at exactly the halfway stage. Big call.
I think he's going to go soft. Go hard, soft. Break the next phase up into 2 quarters of the race, doing half on the one set of tyres. Yeah, big call indeed. And you know what's interesting? Adam Webb is still going on his original medium tyres. He's got this car set up absolutely beautifully to not chew up the tyres. And to add to our point about the pace of Magalon, Adam Webb on 27 lap old medium tyres is lapping faster than 11 lap old softs for Julien Magalon. Magalon's in trouble. And now to go to your point too, he has not won a race, but he's had 3 seconds.
Oh, bridesmaid, but never the bride there for Julien Magalon. For Adam Webb, you know, I think he's gone to the Alex Albon school of tyre saving, as into the pits then will come Jason Green to make another stop, the American in then to make a stop. But Adam Webb, if you think that he can get to about lap 35, lap 35, so another 8 laps on it, He's good for a medium soft run to the end.
If he's making the mediums last this long, yeah, very, very plausible that he could do that. Because he's obviously going to be able to make the softs last if he can make the mediums last. So, yeah, I mean, at worst, he's going to go medium, soft, soft. But yeah, there's a very strong possibility that he could be going medium, soft, one stop and surprising everyone in the field.
Magalon in.
No surprise.
Now that is something. Lap 28. I think Magalon is absolutely committed to the 3-stop strategy. Look at his gears as he goes through. He's trying to get everything out of this pit lane.
He knows that he's in trouble out on track, so he's going to try and take every advantage he can in the pit lane. Tobias Sal in the background, you'll see him pop in too. He's coming in 16 laps he's done on the medium tyre, so shows you how good a run that Adam Webb's getting done here on the soft tyre.
Oh, that's a long stop.
That's
a long stop. It's a speeding penalty for Magalon.
Oh, no.
And that will be him retiring the car. So that is him done. His race over. He was looking for a victory. He's not going to find it. Not in the championship hunt. He's going to retire the car then from the race. So Magalon out with a penalty on pit lane. And they'll notice that when they come round the next time to see, oh, look, Magalon's in the pit. Also to note, in came Walter Lux for a stop.
Yeah, Walter Lux in, which he's gone to the medium tyre. Now, looking at the pit time, I'm trying to work out, oh, yeah, okay, he was doing 82 down the almost entirety of the pit lane, so that's where he's lost the time. I've also just seen Marcel Fassbender's lost about 1.3 seconds on this lap. The gap between he and Gronkowski is stretched out very quickly.
It has. Fassbender has been pushing, and he's gone wide, actually, at the Chapel corner. That's where all the time's gone off, because he's pushing so hard on that soft tyre that it's going to acquiesce. Gronkowski is clear to the tune of 10.5 seconds at this point in this race, and Fassbender's got nothing for Gronk at this point.
Uncharacteristic mistake, isn't it? We haven't seen too many from him throughout this season, but yeah, he's lost all his momentum, and that's probably one of the worst spots on track to lose any momentum, let alone a lot of momentum. So, yeah, it's one of the slowest laps that Fassbender's done. Continue on. 10-second advantage now to Gronkowski.
Oh, Brandon Powell, by the way, has just dropped back behind Kent Nielsen, who made an absolutely worldy of a move around the outside at Stowe.
And Powell hasn't really recovered from that too. I think it's shaken Brandon Powell a little bit. Shook even. It is early in the morning. I'm allowed to say bad things. But yeah, beautiful pass. And you saw that Powell was trying to just drift out wide to take the natural line. And then, hang on, I can't do that. There's a car there. I don't think he was thinking there was going to be an overtake happening at all.
Not just any car, Kent Nielsen's car. And I think that was quite telling in terms of the way that's going. Anthony Catt, by the way, is joining this group. He is a lot quicker than everybody who's there. In comes Marcel Fassbender for his pit stop.
11 laps on that soft set of tyres. So that's
Wow.
at the lower end of the range. We were thinking 11, 12, 13 was about what we were told if the driver was pushing pretty hard. And we know that Fassbender was pushing hard, and that's probably what led to that mistake, was the way he's been pushing. See if he goes to another soft. I'm thinking he will.
He is. So fully committed is Marcel Fassbender now to this strategy. It'll be 11 and 12 his laps. He takes the rise out of the pits, and look at where he comes out. He's behind Anthony Catt, who is on his own set of soft running. Anthony Catt, on position, on merit, is ahead of Marcel Fassbender, and that is huge.
Yep. 3 laps older tyres, so there's only 3 laps difference in regards to strategies, but they're now on the same strategy. They're going to be one more stop to get it home. And Anthony Catt has, what, 2 seconds? And the car in between, so he could drive away a little bit here in this phase and maybe steal Fassbender's hope of getting a second position. Words are struggling to come out of my mouth right now. It's getting very, very excited out on track. Adam Webb is still going. This is the 30th lap of the race, and he's still going on those mediums. I can't see him going too much longer. doesn't matter what a stint this has been.
5 laps. That's all he needs. 5 laps, and he is perfect. He gets the DRS, and you have to consider as well, he's in the middle of a train of cars. He'll be scrubbing those fronts so much around this circuit, and he still continues on as Kalen Chin behind him dives in.
There's 12 laps on these mediums, on these softs for him. So many different strategies within the strategy as well, isn't there? Can you push an extra lap? Do you go 11? Do you go 12? Do you go 13 on the softs? Do you go soft, hard, soft? Do you go hard, soft, soft? What do you do? I am for once glad I'm not even close to skilled enough to race in this series, because I don't think I could work out the strategy, let alone how to race the cars.
Timothy Vaughan also in from 8th position. He jumps into the pit, so Vaughan will get out and away along with Kalen Chin. So this is where it gets really, really, I would say, interesting between Cat and Fastbender. Cat, big wiggle, huge wiggle through Brooklands. What a save by the Brit.
Beautiful save, but big error. And any advantage that he had is now gone, because lost so much ground just from that little tiny error. So little in what he's made there, but gonna cause him a lot of hurt. And the other part is, how much damage did that do to the tyre?
Yeah, and you talk about tyre life, that is big. You can see back end steps out. That is a good recovery there as he goes through. The chrome red wheels are looking absolutely beautiful out there on track for him. But De Marcel is there behind. Marcel Fastbender is going to certainly try and find that move. Is almost certainly going to want to get through, because this is for track position. The only battleground that you could maybe have Anthony Cat win back in terms of this is the fact that they're approaching some slower cars. That difference is going to be about 1.4 seconds at this point in time. And he knows that he will have 2 laps of undercut when he comes in for his final stop.
Yeah, and I think what these cars ahead do could factor into this as well. I think they're all going to come in around about the same time, looking at how they're driving. And I still cannot believe that Adam Webb is out on track and still pushing on. He's doing a fantastic job in this car right now to hold on. Now, Anthony Cat will get DRS the next time they pass at a detection point as well. So this battle is heating up. 5-car fight for second on track, but got the battle of the drivers that haven't pitted.
Marcel trying to get it done at Cops, and he does. Cat runs wide. Fastbender takes a decisive move in the championship.
Very, very nice pass from Marcel Fastbender up into effective second position as Anthony Cat runs very wide again. So maybe these tyres were very, very good to start with, but he's starting to struggle a little bit now, and Marcel Fastbender might get past Adam Webb here.
He might do. He very much might do. He searches to the inside. Adam Webb gives him just enough room. Look how much stickier the tyres are for Marcel Fastbender. No doubt about it. And a big lock-up to boot from Adam Webb.
Yeah, Webb's tyres are now starting to really struggle. He's dropped from that group very, very quickly as well with that lock-up. And how much has that hurt Anthony Cat? He couldn't get past. Connor Fuller drives into the pits, but Anthony Cat will be really disappointed he couldn't get past Adam Webb at that same point, and he's now lost DRS to that group ahead as well.
I'll tell you what, watch Fastbender now, because he's got Brandon Powell set up and he gets him done at Aintree. Might have a chance to get Kent Nielsen done by the time he gets to Brooklands Corner. It's that sort of scything authority that the German has at this point over the rest of the field. The American with nothing, Pula, out of the pits then for what looks like to be his final stop of the race out on a medium. But Fastbender out then through Woodcote Corner, has this one almost done at Copse Corner. You can see him really saving the rain light flashing, and through he goes up into second position. A lap and a half ago, he was sixth. Less than a lap ago, he was sixth. He's now second.
Incredible little bit of driving there to get through so many cars so quickly. And the gap now is, that's the number we need to look at. The interesting number is currently 24 seconds. We know the pit delta is around about 19, 20 seconds. So Marcel Fastbender is effectively 5 seconds behind Jordan Gronkowski on a better tyre. Both still have to make one more stop.
which means that it's still a gap of 24, 23 and a 3/4 seconds at the front of the field. Jordan Gronkowski, we haven't really talked about how good this drive is. This drive from Jordan Gronkowski puts him right now one of the contenders for this championship. He is still going to fight as Brandon Powell having a very sketchy moment on Abbey as Norton Motter dives into the pits. Jordan Gronkowski right now, I think, is in the title fight.
I agree, 100% he's in the title fight. And he can finish this job off. He'll definitely say, hey, I'm not just here to make up the numbers. I'm not here to hold the #1 spot in the championship for a little while. I'm here to hold it for the rest of the season. So it's going to be a very, very interesting battle on track all the way to the end. Gronkowski looking very, very strong right now. Currently 20 laps into this stint. Started on the softs. I think that was a really good call from him. Starting at the front, starting on the softs, I think was very, very clever from him to break away from the guys around him.
It was so smart. He just knew what he needed to do, had a great qualifying time, a strategy he wanted to work with, and it's paying off. There you see behind the medium tyres of Adam Webb, 34 laps on this set of medium compound tyres. He is screaming for a set of softs soon, this lap or the next. The next it must surely be.
Wow. It's the end of 35 laps on these tyres, and we were told 20, 25 maybe if you ginger with them, if you look after them. He has done a very, very good job to make them last what will be 36 laps. And based on that, there's no way he doesn't go in at the end of the next lap and do 16. Considering we've seen drivers that have been pushing them do 13. He's not pushing at all, so there's no doubt that he could do 16 on the soft now.
He absolutely could. Adam Webb has been sensational in his tyre strategy. There goes Anthony Catt around the outside of Ken Nielsen. Can't get it sorted until this corner. Luffield, the long 180-degree right-hander. And I tell you what, when iRacing gets rain, that is the corner that defines how good iRacing's rain physics are.
Is that because we both end up in the wall by not getting through the corner?
No, it's because of the different lines you take. When you're on the outside, it's the one corner in the rain where taking the inside line is slower. You take the outside line, it's quicker.
Yep, you're right. It's because you don't have to have as much radius on the corner. It does mean, and as well, that the way you approach the corner from the previous middle of the road or wider line does work a lot better in wet or slippery conditions. Will we see Webb coming this lap? Webb's actually closing back in on Powell. He's going again. Brandon Powell's just had a little error there too.
I tell you what, he has surpassed everybody's expectations here as Adam Webb. The story of will he, won't he come into the pits? He absolutely has to. It's mandatory. He has to make a stop. He could even go 51 laps if he wanted to on that medium and do a one-lap soft stint to finish the race.
He could. He won't, but he could.
He could.
I don't know why you would. You'd want to get on the soft at some point and have a couple of fun laps on it rather than baby these mediums around, because he is starting to really slow down the driving a little bit. I mean, his pace has dropped off a fair bit. Saying that, his pace has been pretty consistent most of the race. His fastest laps are 33.5. He just did 33.9, but most of his laps have been 33.9s, 34.0s. So he has been very, very consistent. But you can see the gap starting to stretch out. This group was all together only 4 laps ago, and they're all spread out now.
They are. They certainly have coalesced away. Here comes Norton Motter on the fresh tyres. Walter Lux will have nothing for him. Easy pickings for the Brazilian. That's a move to put him up into 11th position. Leader in.
Yep, Gronkowski is in.
Medium?
I think it'll be medium. I think. Will he try and do 16
on a soft?
I mean, he could. Got the gap behind him, but I think you're right. I think we'll see a medium, which will maybe use all 3 compounds. And
no, it's a soft.
It's a soft. Yeah, okay.
He's got the gap, and there's Marcel Fassbender coming out to the pits. He takes the race lead.
Yep. Marcel Fassbender back in the lead of the race, but remember, he still has to make another pit stop. Gronkowski, has he come in maybe 2 laps too early? Obviously, he's thought about this, but he's going hard, soft, hard, soft. And this is an interesting strategy call. Has he come in maybe 2 laps too early? I think he might be okay, but this is interesting.
Look, the only way Marcel Fassbender's going to win this race is if he tangles with Gronkowski. Gronkowski is in the picture now. A lap earlier, he's ahead. A lap further behind, he drops an extra second or so with his hard compound tyre. Marcel Fassbender has played himself into the perfect place, and Gronkowski, I think, might just be coy with this. Hold that gap, maintain it at around a second, 9/10 of a second, and wait for Marcel Fassbender to pit.
Yeah, good point. And obviously, if he just saves a little bit of everything, saves some tyre, he's got more tyre to burn at the end of the race, and then he'll have that 20-odd second advantage that he can just steadily drive on home with at the end. There is a bonus point in our SimSpeed Championship for fastest lap, just like in the real world, which at the moment, Kalen Chin would take that point. He has just got past James Dempster as well. Dempster on 20-lap old hards. Chin still needs to make one more stop on softs. Fassbender can now start to realise, hang on, I'm in a big trouble in regards to the race overall. Strategy is not going to work because I still have to pit, and Gronkowski doesn't.
Well, in theory, Marcel Fassbender does have to pit again. No one's gone that long on the set of the soft tyres. Adam Webb still out there, 38 laps. He will go on those mediums. They are screaming. Gronkowski, closing, doesn't make the move there on the Wellington straight into Brooklands corner.
I don't think he was ever even thinking about making the move. That was just a move over just to say, hey, I'm here. I'm ready to take the spot away from you as soon as you give it up. So Gronkowski playing a couple of mind games, but we know that Marcel Fassbender is alert to all of those mind games. He's been so good throughout the season, but just hasn't quite had the strategy to make this work like Gronkowski has today. Fassbender, regardless, is still going to get a great haul of points if he can bring this home in this spot.
I wonder how much different this would have been if Marcel Fassbender had enough fuel in his car for qualifying. Yeah. That would have been the biggest difference maker out there in terms of what these two's races would have been like. Gronkowski again getting close, but not choosing to make that move, not able to close it up enough on Marcel Fassbender, who stays out another lap, who is good on his tyres. We expect to about lap 40 is when we reckon he's going to come in by basis of when he made his last pit stop. Webb now, will he dive off then lap 39? He finally acquiesces.
Oh, have a look at the wear on that front tyre. Look at it.
It's gone. It's popped.
Yep. No wonder he's in. He's got nothing left on that front tyre. The absolute perfect time to get into the pits. Wow.
Jay, it looks like a mid-2000s Michelin.
It does. You can actually see the grain. Oh, look at that. Oh, well done. And he's popped it at the perfect corner. If he's going to pop a tyre, you might as well pop it at the last corner before the pit.
Oh, look at the leaders. Look at the leaders. Side by side. Down the inside goes Gronkowski. He takes the race lead away. He fought hard on the Wellington straight. He had to go around the outside to make that move. A huge risk for his race.
Yeah, I don't know why he's making these moves. He doesn't need to make the overtake, does he? But obviously he knows he's got pace, so he's going to try and do it. But yeah, I don't see why you'd need to make the move. I'm confused by this.
He could have waited it out, but he chose to be the hero, and I don't blame him. That's a great move on de Marcel.
Yeah, very, very nice move. But yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I thought he was just going to wait it out and, wait for Marcel Fassbender to pit. I mean, maybe he doesn't realise that Fassbender still has to come into the pits for one more turn in the lane, but surely he knows.
Surely he does, and he will now try and build his advantage out there. There is the driver in fourth position, Kent Nielsen, getting off his set of hards. He'll have one run of softs, big lock-up trying to get there to the line, and it is one of the keys here to this race. The line is so crucial. You can't afford to drop yourself in a position where you speed on the pits.
They did also move that line back a little bit for this year. So previously that line was a little bit further forward, and some people were using that as a bit of a shortcut at the end of races to steal spots, but that little glitch has been fixed a little. The line has been pushed back a little bit further, which is stabilise the amount of time that people will lose in the lane is that Nielsen out on soft. So then they've got two drivers who aren't on soft tyres at the moment. They've been Connor Pooler and Walter Lux. Pooler not long ago pitted and took hard tyres. Walter Lux 12 laps ago took medium tyres.
Yep, so they will be the ones who are going to be struggling on tyre life between now and the end. There is Anthony Catt, a very strong third position from him at the moment. This has been a wonderful drive by him, full of strategy, staying on the hard compound earlier, and it's again going to get him consistent points. He'll drop a little bit back on Marcel Fassbender as it stands, but these are still really good points for Anthony Catt.
Win a championship, it's not about winning, getting points in the races you do very, very well in. It's the amount of points you can get in the races you don't have the pace to win. Anthony Catt is doing that right now. Very, very good drive, regardless of where he finishes. It's been a good drive anyway.
Catt's another driver who doesn't have a race victory, correct?
Correct.
There are so many drivers who could have a race victory in this series who just haven't yet.
Yep, so we've got Matteo Ugolotti, Paul Bernstorff, we've had Ben Fuller, Bruce Bernier, we've had Andreas Henkel, we've also had Aurelian Baif, we've had Marcel Fassbender at Long Beach, Barcelona was Jarl Tien, of course Fassbender won at Montreal, and then last week we had James Dempster win. So there's our winners we've had so far, and at the moment it's looking like Jordan Gronkowski is going to be added to that winners list.
In a season full of unpredictability, the only thing that's been the most predictable is there will be a different winner. That's been the way it's gone. Catt releases himself back into the race in 5th position. He'll have to make 2 passes here in this one. Speaking of passes, there goes Ken Nielsen down the inside of Norton Motter. No arguments about it. He finds the easy move on the end of the Wellington Straight.
Very, very nice move in the end there. Very, very good overtaking. Brandon Powell now coming as well. All the Motters on 7-lap-old softs, so Motter's going to have to be very, very careful with these softs. He might actually be short on laps with the softs. It's looking like he's going to have to do 18 laps on this stint. Fassbender's decided, hey, I can't make these softs last any longer. He's into the pits now himself.
Yeah, so this will be his final stint, and Jordan Gronkowski now has full license at the front of this field. He will be a full pit stop clear should anything happen to him over the course of the final 11 laps of this race. Catt has dispatched to Timothy Vaughan, who dives into the pits. So that will be him out of the way. And here's a look at how he got this done on the hangar straight of this old British airfield. And he comfortably gets the move done.
Very, very nice pass in the end there. Now Marcel Fassbender has responded to Anthony Catt as well, coming to the pits. So we can have a proper look now at who has gained and where everyone is. Kalen Chin's probably the one that's... as he rejoins just ahead of Connor Pooler. They're side by side.
They are. And Pooler here is going to need a little bit of help with the grip. He's not going to have it, though, because he's on the hard tyre. Brand new, fresh set of softs for Kalen Chin, who's moved just back recently, Jay, to Australia, and now finds himself with that move. He's in 9th position. He's got a lot of work to do to get what he wants out of this race, considering he started from the back.
Yeah, good job from the back to gain over half the positions in the field, but I think he'll be thinking based on his pace that he's got, how many laps to go. P7 is not out of the realms of possibility here. So this will be an interesting little phase of the race. James Dempster also starting to close in on Adam Webb as well. They're now identical in regards to strategy, so this will be interesting to watch too over the next little bit. Probably our main battle on track at the moment of these two.
Webb and Dempster then, the race for 9th and 10th it was. It's now 7th and 8th on this race through Stowe Corner, down through the Vale and heading towards the club section of circuit. The left and then the fast right down here at the bottom of the track, trying to drive back on the power as early as possible. 5th gear, flick into 6th, up then into 7th. There's 8 gears in this car, 9 if you can't reverse. In through the very fast Abbey Corner, through the left of Farm and into the village as Tobias Saal takes the fastest lap away, but would crucially score no bonus point because he's outside the top 10.
Yep, he needs to gain a spot. he's going to get that bonus point, but I'll tell you what, he might actually, because he's right behind Conopula. So there's a chance that Tobias Sale might go from 0 points to 2 in our SimSpeed Championship if he can get this overtake done.
Well, he's only got to make one place in the next 10 laps. He's got to find it P, D, and Q if he wants to get this done. Conopula's not going to let that one go without too much of an argument.
Positive for Tobias Sale. He has the soft tyre, and he has fairly new ones, and I think he's going to get it done relatively quickly. Looking at this, Conopula's not putting up too much of a fight.
He's got nothing for it.
No.
And being on the wrong tyre at the end of the race is going to cost him. The driver who started on pole position hasn't necessarily driven a bad race, just hasn't had anything really to give him a point.
Yeah, he's just got on the wrong tyre at the wrong time. I think not necessarily by choice, just by having to do that. So, yeah, by Sal had the bonus point for a little bit. It's now gone. Marcel Fassbender is flying out there 1 second faster than Jordan Gronkowski, but I don't think Gronkowski cares in the slightest.
Well, he'll only catch up to 10 seconds at this rate with Marcel Fassbender. Gronkowski's got more than enough of a gap. So that is safe, you'd feel, for the time moment. What's not safe is Adam Webb in 7th position. He's got work to do as he heavily defends from James Dempster, soon to be Kalen Chin as well. Norton Motta is just down the road. Still, with all the defending from Adam Webb, was able to close half a second. Will there be a move now from James Dempster, who won last time out? Thinks about it to the inside, prizing it open like a bank robber. Can he find another chance around the outside? Oh, mama, you bet he can. But he'll have to go around the outside of not only Woodcote corner, but Copse corner as well. And he backs out of it. Yeah,
and Kalen Chin will be thinking, hey, keep fighting, boys. You're giving me a chance to get these spots a lot easier. Kalen Chin now will be in DRS range down the hangar straight as well. As they come across the line, you see the line just through 11. There it is. Light on. DRS ready. DRS activated just out of Chapel here. And now look at how much momentum Kalen Chin has as well.
He might have a chance here. He might get this closing. But he's going to have to be brave on the brakes. But it doesn't matter how brave you are. He's not going to get there. Another fastest lap for Marcel Fassbender. 29.8. Chin with a little think to the inside. Isn't going to find it.
First lap in the 29s we've seen today for Marcel Fassbender, as he is flying out there right now. But flying right now as well is Kalen Chin as he tries to get past James Dempster. I'll tell you what, Brandon Powell Northern Motto's at the lead of this group, the 4 cars you see. He might have to be a little bit concerned about the pace of these guys coming through as well, as here comes Chin.
Oh, Chin on the outside. Drives
nice
off
move.
the exit. James Dempster's got nothing to fight it. And now can he pick off another one on this straight with the DRS, because he's got his eyes on the tyre whisperer, Adam Webb.
Beautiful overtake there, making the line of the corner work in his favour. I'll tell you what, if he goes around
no
word.
Way. Oh, no way indeed. Contact between them, and they somehow all keep it together.
Wow. Heavy contact. Looks like everyone's going to be able to continue on. Doesn't look like anyone's got a mechanical black flag, which is good to see, but I didn't think that was possible. Oh, no.
Ooh.
Dempster.
He's not happy. Dude, what are you doing? On the radio, Adam Webb with the widest car in all of Northamptonshire, and he holds it up. Big check-up as they go through front to rear. Contact! More contact there with Kalen Chin onto the hangar straight. I tell you what, Adam Webb is racing right now. He's not making friends. There goes the front wing.
Oh, wow. This race has just gone all sorts of haywire.
A half a minute that Adam Webb will severely want back. He had a rush of blood to the head.
Yep. Oh, I think they all did, didn't they? All 3 of them did. That Chin, Dempster, and Webb all had a little bit of a small rush of blood to the head, and really didn't need to happen. And interesting too, black flag, James Dempster, black flag, Adam Webb, incident point limit hit.
Well, if you're going to play that game, you've only got yourself to blame to put yourself in it. And James Dempster can point the finger around at Adam Webb saying you're racing too aggressively. It's your prerogative to get out of trouble and stay out of trouble. That's why the iRacing no-fault system is the way it is.
Yep. yeah, sure, you can say, hey, you shouldn't be fighting that hard, but the other parties in it need to also go, hey, I don't need to fight that hard either. So, yeah, I'm sure there's going to be an interesting debrief post-race from that one, though. I don't want to be involved in that.
I'd stay off of the iRacing Open Wheel Discord
Yeah,
then. It's going to be a flame war after this. That much we can guarantee. Still, though, it is 5 laps to go. The next time your race leader, Jordan Gronkowski, crosses the finish line, 16.8 seconds clear. This has been a masterful drive by him tonight.
He's just cruising away, isn't he? He's not pushing too hard. He's just making sure he's going to have enough tyre left to survive the race. James Dempster comes in to serve his black flag for incident limit. That'll boost Timothy Vaughan and Connor Pooler back into the points. Connor Pooler's back into 10th.
Connor Pooler is back into the point, so to speak. He'll only get one. He won't get multiple. He is back into the point, so he will get one, and he will hold on for the moment because Walter Lux is about a few seconds behind down the road. Dempster's back out and away again. That might be the only thing he's looking at here, how long it's going to take him to go through. Adam Webb back out and away again after the front wing change and the penalty, now a lap down.
Yep, Adam Webb with a 1 minute 22 stop time at that pit stop. Dempster just serving the drive-through, so Adam Webb may have also got a speeding in pit lane black flag. He's also got
still got one.
Yeah, he's got another black flag to clear. So I think he's got a speeding in pit lane penalty and now has to come in and serve another penalty for the incident.
But let's be fair here, Jay. He still has less penalties than Esteban Ocon.
Very true. Very true. Although I think everyone in the world does.
No, that's very true. I don't have a penalty. Do you have a penalty, Jay?
I don't have a penalty. I also don't have a race start either, though. So.
Oh, no, that is true. That's a shame. Still, it is going to be Norton Motta now who'll be looking behind. Kalen Chin, after surviving what happened between Webb and Dempster,
somehow
now has fixed here on 6th place, and he's 4/10 away.
Somehow survived. I don't know how all 3 of them are still driving, but they are. But yeah, Kalen Chin's still coming for the Motta, so he might still 5th place away. We said that 7th would be about as high as he could get, but it might be 6th, and it could possibly be 5th the way he's going. You also see in the background there, Tobias Saal also coming along as well. Remember, Motta, he's on 14-lap old soft tyres, so he's really going to have to work these to 20 laps or 19 laps to survive the race. So I can't see how he's going to have to be able to push too hard here for Northern Motta. And there's the move that Kalen Chin was trying to do before, but couldn't quite get done. Very, very nice.
I thought he nearly didn't have... Oh, no, he has to lift. He has to lift on the straight. So he doesn't have anything there, but he'll attack off the exit of Stowe Corner, and he will get the move. He's stuck at 272 through this section of straight there. So a really, really low gear. Is he fuel saving, maybe?
Potentially. There is a potential that it may be fuel. Nice sail coming now.
Because look how quick. Kalen Chin is stuck at 279 on the front stretch, moving back. I think he's fuel saving.
Might be right. Can get up.
Go on board, 7th gear. Through the opening corner, no real arguments there. In through turn 2. It's either that or he's on a really high downforce set because he's really not getting any top speed in the car. And in fact, just looking at the bevel, he's on a really high downforce setup.
Yeah, definitely. He doesn't have the straight line because of the setup, which is why he's had so much pace through the corners as well. So, I mean, that does make sense. Tobias Saal now looking to get this spot on Northern Motta, and I think he will. I don't think there's going to be too much of a doubt about that. It's just how quick does he get this spot, takes this spot away. I think it's going to be down the back of the hanger straight. He's just going to take his time and get this move done, make sure it's done cleanly.
He's been so consistent, has Tobias Saal, all season. He's been the sort of driver, Jay, that when you look at the way that he's been conducting himself over the course of this year, he has just been a Pierre Gasly-style driver who just picks up the minor points.
Yeah, he's just smooth, consistent. We don't talk about him too much because he's just doing his own thing. He just races his own race. Doesn't get too involved in too much of the shenanigans that often go on out there. Didn't get the move done this time, but he's close enough to get the move done very, very soon.
Not with that wiggle coming through club corner. Going to have to be patient now. 3 laps to go here at Silverstone. And it is going to be Tobias Saal really trying to maximise a way to get up into 7th position. He started in 8th. He is in 8th. But every driver knows you want to beat your number, not match it.
Yep. Connor Puller will be the one that's ruining that. Remembering starting on pole. Now back into 10th position. Should be able to hold on to that spot. He's got James Dempster coming up behind him after serving that black flag. Actually, that could be close by the end of the race. But, yeah, Tobias Saal still not able to get this position done. He's trying hard, but he just hasn't got anything to finalise the move, does he?
No, he's got nothing yet, but give it a moment because he'll be right there on the hangar straight. You'll struggle through cops with the dirty air. You can see all of the grandstands then waiting through the lefts and the rights of Maggots into Beckett, into Chapel. And now this is where the power on the exit's going to matter. Now the DRS, both of them with the same amount of DRS is going to cover each other off here. But you can still see how it's going to pull in then for Tobias Saal, covered off all the way on the inside. So it's going to be miles out wide that Norton Motta's going to go. And he's still going to fight him here in towards that next section of road. This is brilliant stuff between the two of them. And how much is he going to push him on the outside? Great stuff by Saal. He gets it done.
Beautiful move in the end there. Well, the Motta did have to check up a little bit to serve a slowdown for running so wide, but done it in a very, very good way. But Tobias Saal just did enough there to hold on to the spot. Motta coming back through. Doesn't quite get it done, but I tell you what, he's making it difficult.
Tobias Saal was incensed over the radio, saying, "You are moving under brakes," to Norton Motta. He knew that he was so upset with that Motta was going to always have a dig back with the last of his tyres, but that is Saal through. Tobias Saal will get the last lap. He will drive away.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Timothy Vaughan's a chance of getting Motta here because he might have pushed too hard on those tyres and there's nothing left on them as it is. Still going to do a lap and a half. At the front of the field, Gronkowski starts the final lap of the race. But Motta, has he got anything left in these tyres to hold on for another lap and a half from Timothy Vaughan and everyone else?
Well, that is the last question of this race. Can there be a hold for 8th place for Norton Motta, the Brazilian, trying to hold on to everything he possibly can? Meanwhile, heading his way on the Wellington Straight for the final time is Jordan Gronkowski here on virtual home soil. The number 10 from about round 6 to round 9 of this championship had an absolutely torrid time. The points left him away. He was at one stage in this championship the leader overall after the early stages. But this is a renaissance that he will be so happy about. A renaissance to his championship ambitions that he has searched for and searched for with his pace. When he started this season, he was the last driver on iRacing. Right now, he is in the middle of these drivers with iRacing. And with results like these, he might just become very soon on par on iRacing level with Anthony Catt, with Marcel Fassbender, with Julian Magalon, and say he is one of the elites of this series. Watch out for him in the second half as he now makes his way out of Stowe and heads his way through to Club Corner, because Jordan Gronkowski, he is elite here. 10 winners in 11. Gronk wins at Silverstone.
What a drive. Absolutely brilliant drive in the end from Gronkowski. He's going to be absolutely overjoyed with that too. Fassbender, great job from him to finish in second position and ending up getting it down to 13 seconds in the end, which is a really good effort. And driver of the day, for me, Anthony Catt has done very, very well to hold on to that third, and he's done it on genuine pace as well.
He's done really well, has Anthony Cat today. He is really proving that he is going to be a thorn of consistency that Marcel Fassbender will have to deal with throughout the entirety of the season. There is Norton Motta. He looks like he will hold here. Timothy Vaughan away for that 8th place, heading towards the line. One more lap needed, really, for Timothy. He was close, but just not close enough to get that all sorted. But ultimately, Silverstone, pretty a great race, excuse me.
Well done on getting that out, almost perfectly timed. Walter Lux, he'll be disappointed with how this has played out. He had a good qualifying position, but just something with the car was not working in his favour. He just could not find stability with the car, could not find stability with the tyres. I'm so in 12th in the end. Very disappointed he will be.
Oh, replay. Adam Webb has taken out James Dempster after the checkered flag.
Right, we'll get that up in just a sec.
Wow. Let's get confirmation of results then, first and foremost. Jordan Gronkowski picks up the win, 1 hour, 21 minutes and 2 seconds, and he'll take the margin win of 13 seconds over Marcel Fassbender, who apparently is not German, but SimRC. So I believe SimRC.de is its own country now here in our table overall. It'll be Anthony Cat who finishes 3rd, ahead of Kent Nielsen in 4th. Brandon Powell, what a good top 5 that was from him today. He really earned that, along with all of those drivers, both Fassbender, Kent Nielsen, and Kalen Chin, all gained at least 10 positions in that race. Kalen Chin from the back of the field got 6th place. Tobias Saar would finish 7th, ahead of Norton Motta. Timothy Vaughan would finish 9th, with Connor Pooler rounding out the top 10, just getting the point. Over the pace, James Dempster will be in 11th position. The Your Moment Racing driver, Walter Lux, would end up in 12th place, with Jason Green 13th, 1 lap down, and Adam Webb 1 lap down in 14th. We'll see what happened there after the race as he made contact with James Dempster. Julian Magalon, the first retiree, as he could not get it done in terms of his speeds down in the pits. He was struggling with tyres all race, with Nick Burke, Lucas Okomsky, Oyvind Horgeland, and Yestin Chiapalone out of the race. Horgeland and Chiapalone early on. Now, Jay, this is not what you want to see in sim racing. Most sim racing broadcasters ignore this sort of thing. This is the sort of thing that we look at and call out, bang.
Yeah, that's, I mean, there was a little bit of phantom contact in amongst that, but even still unnecessary. But, hey, there's a little bit of heat out there, which, I mean, I'm not surprised that there's been a little bit of heat after that race. There was a fair bit going on. Speaking of heat, there's going to be heat next round. 2 weeks' time. Hungaroring. This track always turns it on as well. It's always a hot track condition too.
It's always a hot track. It's always a tough battle. It is high downforce all the way. Join us on July 21st for that one. Once again, 7:05 GMT, 8:05 BST. I tell you what, Jordan Gronkowski is over the moon. He is celebrating like crazy. He's probably the most popular driver out there in the paddock at the moment for the work and the toil that he has had going through this race. But now you start sensing the second half of this season. There are 12 more races still to determine what makes this championship. It is anybody's at this point. Marcel Fassbender will think that he has done really well coming out of this, but Anthony Cat is proving again that he is going to be a thorn, that maybe not on overall pace he's there, but on sheer result finish, he is always going to be a factor in this championship. This has been with SimSpeed TV, with Jay Kennedy and Jake Sperry, the iRacing Grand Prix Tour, Formula A in terms of what is going on, and we will see you at the Hungaroring when the second half of this season fires into life.